It's Generation Beat.
This is Nosey with Good Intentions, the podcast.
In every nook and cranny.
This is Michael
And Kirk. Guiding your noses today.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's afternoon.
You over there trying to be small.
I'm trying to be small because I'm always going to get you into the camera beside you. I'm trying to be tiny.
What is your Raptress go for today, sir?
Well, my Raptresses are still letting me down, so I've just been on a nostalgic trail.
Uh-huh.
You know, I love Britney Spears, and she really did. You know, I mean, she just sort of captured everybody's heart for the most part. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's a few sourpusses out there, but you know, that sort of pop
era.
It was a happy time.
Yeah.
But you know, as time went on, like I always sort of thought, like, you know, it was mostly dance music, blah blah blah. But now that I've sort of been going down this nostalgic rabbit hole, I've realized, like, oh, some of these songs, like, you know, have some sort of interesting lyrics.
Okay.
So one of her songs is called "Shattered Glass," and I used to love the song just because it's a good beat. I'll have to play it for you. It's a good beat. It's, you know, it's sort of interesting because the beat is a little happy, but has like a tenseness to it. I'll play it for you.
Okay.
But the song is not happy. But it's essentially a song about her being cheated on, whatever, blah blah blah, and the line that of the chorus that sort of sets up the title of "Shattered Glass" is you can't put it back together when your world falls apart like shattered glass.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, it's kind of like, on the surface of just listening to the song, you're sort of like, okay, it's like, a nice beat. I, you know, bop my head to it. But like really thinking about it, I was like, you know, shattered glass is one of those things you can't put back together.
Right.
So it sort of had this like interesting.
Yeah, because even if you break a vase, if you glue it, but it's still a vase, but it still has all the cracks in it. Yeah,
correct.
Okay. Yeah. I can fuck with it.
I fucks with it.
I fucks with it very deep. Deep as a kiddie pool.
What's been on your mind, dude? Speaking of kiddie pools.
Do you agree with the phrase "more money, more problems"?
I do.
Would you like an example?
Please.
Okay, for myself, this is why I brought the topic up. On my way here, 4-hour drive, you know, going to North Dakota, I was like, man, I was able to see what my check is going to be tomorrow. I said, that's a pretty good check. I had worked overtime, not weekly. I mean, not just pay period. Every week I've worked overtime, like at least 10 to 12 hours of overtime every week.
Wow.
And so my checks have been bigger, not millions of dollars bigger, but I'm not going to give y'all money. But shit, I wish. No, I will say that they've been.
Oh, wait, 6.
3-figure check, baby. I get paid about $300 every 2 weeks.
6 figures. 6 figures.
No, they've been between $800 to $1,000 more.
Nice.
I have not seen the fruits of my labor. It doesn't feel like I'm making an additional. Let me just say between an additional 5 and 1,000, give or take, depending on how many hours I work.
Do you feel like there's a reason you're not?
Well, I mean, I'm paying for stuff that's coming up, but just in general, does it feel like I'm making more money? And I wonder if that's a common thing, or is it because of the cost of living that's going on, that significant increase? Yeah. Is it, you know what I mean? Because milk is like $12 a gallon now versus $2.50.
Yeah.
Gas, in the last month, it has gone down. It's below $3, thankfully.
Yeah.
It also got down to like $2.45.
Nice.
For like 2 days, but it's been floating around $2.60, and this is very nice.
Yeah.
And the car that I have now, it's very nice.
It was 99 cents when I got my license.
Yeah, but that was like 200 years ago.
I know.
And then I like the fact that my car doesn't even take $40 to fill up.
Yes.
Hey, that shit is beautiful.
Which car?
My little SpongeBob dune buggy. You know what I'm saying? But,
still got 2.
Well, I'm selling another one. So that one has moved twice since I got the new car. So it's being sold.
For moving purposes.
But in general, it doesn't feel like, and feelings are not facts. I don't see.
Do you have more bills?
No. I feel like I don't have to do a promise to pay as much. Full transparency on the podcast. Every night I do a promise to pay.
I mean, maybe you actually are, because you're not behind, you're now ahead, but it doesn't mean the money didn't go anyway.
What do you mean it didn't go anywhere?
Like, if you have a promise to pay, and so you work really hard, and then you get your paycheck and you pay the promise to pay, you're just paying the promise to pay before you have to promise to pay.
Yeah.
So nothing's really changed. You're just paying it before you're promising anybody you're going to pay it.
I'm paying them on time, yes. Not like I said, it's
which
not
is a
all
blessing.
the time, but I think it would be nice to be working this hard
and get some shoes.
Yeah, I want me some shoes. Damn it, I ain't bought no shoes at all in 2024.
I still haven't broke down. You thought you might.
I'm breaking down tomorrow. I don't go until 4:30. I'm sliding by tomorrow. I'm going to get me some motherfucking shoes. No, I'm going to buy some equipment.
Okay. Instead of shoes.
No, I can buy both. That's a pretty good check.
So how do you feel like you've got more money, more problems?
Because the last check was a big check. I didn't get nothing out of it.
But now you're going to get equipment and shoes.
Well,
because you paid everything without having to promise to pay.
Yes, probably not though. What I'm probably going to do in my mind is reserve the venue for December and then just buy some equipment that I actually do need
for the photo shoot.
For the grand finale art exhibit.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I designed the invitations. I'll show you what they look like. I got to fix them up. But anyway, but I don't feel like I'm getting ahead. And I think that might be a common theme in America in these days, since most people live check to check.
Well,
not saying everybody's broke, but I
think for me, I would say I used to work a lot.
Yeah, you definitely did.
But I also saved a lot of money. Now I don't work as much, but I
don't spend as much, and your bills are low.
I'm having to make promises to pay.
Welcome to the team.
On the old promise to pay team.
Yeah.
But recently I've started working a lot more.
And now you feel better?
Well, I feel a little bit better because I'm not having to promise as much.
Yeah. Promises are broken.
But
like shattered glass.
I think if you don't pay your promise, shattered glass.
Yes, absolutely.
But I like structure.
Yes, you do.
I like a little OCD in my life.
Yeah, but I mean, the less structure you currently have is only because of the job. It's not you're not choosing to not have structure. If that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm building a little bit. I think what I'm working on right now is, now that I don't have a specific day that I used to go to the gym where it was every Monday night and every Thursday night. And that was it. Like that was your.
I go when I can.
Right. Yeah. So you either went or you didn't go.
Yeah.
And so now I have a different gym membership.
Welcome to the chaos. It's a beautiful thing.
So now I'm trying to work on not just fitting in the gym, but still making it a priority, but
it doesn't have to be Monday, Tuesday, like those specific days.
Right. I'm trying to be more flexible with, which days I'm going.
Is that hard for you?
For me, it is.
Why?
I think for me, it's because I know that my memory is going.
I could have sworn I goes to the gym on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Well, today Friday.
as the years go by, I do feel it slipping more and more.
So that's why you're OCD about it?
Yes.
So it's not that the chaos
to remember
is bad. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I won't be helping you with your memory.
I don't.
We can watch these and remember.
Listen, we just roll whatever. So this is my chaos.
Yes, sir.
And so I try to structure everything else
Welcome.
Around the chaos, known as Chappelle chaos.
Yes, mine's all chaos.
Chaos Chappelle.
Yeah. La Chappelle. La
Honda. Chaos Chappelle.
I watched that the other day. It was funny.
But I'm trying to just not go with the flow per se, but I'm just trying to certain days that I do my grave digging, I'm close by the gym. So I think, okay, on those days, those are perfect days to swing by the gym right afterwards because I'm right there. Yeah. And then I can come straight home.
Right.
So things like that. It's gotten better. I took a break from pickleball because I was having a bad attitude.
What do you mean? The people or the game itself?
I just wasn't having fun anymore.
Fuck pickleball.
Well, it's not mine. No, I wasn't having fun anymore, even with people that I normally would have fun with.
But what was taking the fun? The people were taking the fun out of it, or the game itself, or just the process of getting up, going to do pickleball?
I think it was me.
Oh, hell, you've been a curmudgeon ass white.
I think part of it is, like, for me, I like working toward being better. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else.
Like you plateaued?
Just me being better than myself, like over time, like getting progressively better. To me, the more I understood the game, the better I felt like I played it, the more fun I had.
You feel like you plateaued?
Well, no, people stopped hitting me the ball. It started with people stopped hitting me the ball.
And they don't want to fucks with me.
Well, no, but I think a lot of it at first was I was taking it personally. I thought they weren't hitting me the ball on purpose.
They might be strategically, not I don't like Kirk.
Well, but I'm like, it's a rec game. Like, if you're not hitting me the ball strategically in a rec game,
it ain't that deep.
Just get a life. Hey.
What are you playing with?
It ain't that serious.
Right.
But it did sort of suck the fun out of it.
Because you're just standing there, yeah.
Because I'm like, you guys realize, like, you could just play 2-on-1 and do exactly what you're doing now. Like, you don't need me to be here.
And there's one-on-one pickleball too, right?
Yeah. Singles.
Single damn one-on-one.
But then it was like, I would talk to people like, I'm really frustrated about this. And some people, I started realizing like some people were more aware than others. And so then I was like, like I played in this tournament. Mm-hmm. And the guy that I played with, he's gotten really good really quick. And he's doing really good. Mm-hmm. And he asked me to play in this tournament. I was like, sure, absolutely, I will. And I said, it's a tournament. You're probably going to get a lot of balls. Like, part of it for me, like, I always say, well, I'm just bad at tournaments. But
I have lots of medals to prove that I'm not.
But realistically, I wasn't having fun anymore because whoever I played with would just get most of the balls.
Oh, yeah.
And then there would be a game or two here or there where the other team would move the ball around. And so those, even if we lost, I was like, oh, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Like because the ball was moving around the court. They were playing the whole court, which made us have to work together as a team instead of me being like, way to hang in there for 30 shots. I couldn't contribute anything.
But from what I know, you also enjoy pickleball for the exercise.
I do, but when you're not exercising,
when you're
standing and watching everybody else play.
Okay.
So anyway, I think just over time, it just kept building and building, and like, I laugh now. At the time, I was a little bit like, but. So I was playing with this guy in the tournament, and one of the teams that we played is someone I play tournaments with as well. And we play together, we have fun together, and we play against each other. And we battle it out and stuff. But again, in a tournament, whatever, it's not a rec game. I understand that. And so really, neither of us played all that much. He was at a different partner. And so neither of us really played all that much because the other two guys were playing against each other because they didn't know each other. So my partner knew another guy that I play with, and the other guy knew me and my partner, but the only person that didn't know each other were our partners.
Oh, okay.
So they were hitting a lot of, and his partner even said, "You ain't getting no balls." to me. He didn't hear that. So later on when I was like, well, I mean, I got like 2 balls because the ball would eventually get to the guy that I play other tournaments with, and he would hit me the ball. And sometimes I just miss it.
Okay.
I think I missed it twice.
You're just chilling,
I think I missed it both.
Oh, it's my turn.
I think I missed it both times. Yeah. So anyway, but it was like, he goes, I hit you balls. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to say anything, but also we didn't really play all that much because it was mostly the other 2 people.
So is that...
And your partner even said that. And like all the other teams that we played, they were like, sorry, we're not going to hit you any balls. Like,
they know
people
you're good.
will come and tell me, and then I go, well, that's on purpose. But then in rec play, so then I thought, you know what? It's a tournament. I usually would just shrug those off and be like, oh, I don't have any money to play in this tournament. Sorry, I'm going to have to pass, because it's like, what am I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But rec play was what really was bothering me. And I think because I'm just like, it's a rec game.
It still could be strategic.
But I started realizing I don't think people are as aware. I think because it's me and because I'm standing there, I'm hyper aware of it.
Yeah, because you're just standing
Whereas
there.
Everybody else, the other 3 people are playing, they're not thinking, don't hit it to Kirk.
Right.
They're not realizing, like, I've literally hit 5 balls. Okay. We've been playing for 30 minutes and I've hit 5 balls. But because I'm the one that hit the 5 balls,
you're aware of it.
I'm super hyper aware of it, and nobody else is. And so I started realizing, like, oh, I'm the only one aware of it. That makes sense. But it doesn't change the fact that it does bother me. Yeah. But now I'm not also taking it as a personal.
No, I don't think
that's what was ruining my fun. Was I was taking it personal because I'm like, why? And then people would go, I want to play against you. I finally looked at this one guy and I went, I'm not walking out on the same court with you unless we're on the same team. Because he kept going, I want to play against you. And I was like, hitting every ball to my partner is not playing against me.
No, we could just do singles.
And he sort of looked at me and I went, don't ask me to play. If you want to be my partner, I'll play with you. Don't ask me to play against you.
Yeah, you might have been taking all
and
that.
And I literally, and he just sort of looked at me, but you know what he never did? He never asked me to play, except to be his partner.
Yeah.
And one time, listen, this is so bad. One time we were standing there, and there was 2 guys standing on the court, which meant, and they were standing on opposite sides of the net.
Which means they're playing against each other.
And he looks at me and went, did you want to play? And I went, are you on my team? And he went, no. And I went, I'm good. And he sort of looked at me and he went, well, you can go ahead and play. I'll wait for the next one. Then I felt kind of bad. But I mean, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I drove to another town and we're sitting there and there's this new guy. He was doing good. I mean, you could tell, like, he was trying. And there I stood. And he kept saying, he didn't want to be, he literally said, I don't want to be your partner. I want to play against you. And then proceeded to, hammer the female that was my partner. And I'm just looking at him like, why am I here? In your brain, like, and I want to find somebody that's not going to be defensive about it and just be like, I want to know what's happening in your mind. I need that for my peace of mind to know, what about you wanting to play against me to, quote unquote, get better, but then you spend the entire time hammering my partner. What is it exactly that you think you're getting out of that? You haven't done anything
against me
to like get the ball by me, or you know what I mean? Like, I can understand, like I have long arms. So if you're like, I want to play against you because you can reach in close to the net, because you have to stay behind the net. There's a certain amount of distance, like a line that you have to stand behind. Unless you let it bounce, you can step in. Yeah. But you can't step in and hit it in the air. You got to stay back. So, but because I have longer arms, I can reach in further than the average person. Yeah. And so I've had a few people say, like, I like to, there's this lady, she's like, I like to dink against you because you can reach in.
Okay.
And it makes, lets her practice
Dinking.
moving the dinks more instead of getting stuck in hitting them in the same spot over and over. And I'm just sitting there hitting them from the air, taking away her time. Okay. And she'll literally hit a bunch of dinks at me. And that's fine. You know, that makes sense. In my mind, you're like, I want to practice because you can reach into the kitchen. But so I'm like, those people, I'm like, I'll play with you all day. This guy, I finally just went, no, I'm not playing anymore. I mean, I'm just like, I tried to say it nicely, like, hey. Also, my partner, because they're hitting 99% of the balls, they're also hyper aware. And so my partners are always looking at me and they're like, I'm so sorry. They're just hitting a lot of balls to me. And I go, it's fine. It's okay. I'm not. But anyway, all that to say, I finally was just like, maybe I just need to not go. So I stopped going.
So when last time you been?
I went today.
Okay.
But I have since started going back a little bit more because I'm coming to terms with it's not personal. And if it happens, it happens. So sometimes I'll just look at somebody and be like, did you want to play singles? So then I can run a few calories.
Right.
You know. And I do like pickleball couple. I love playing against pickleball couple. Because we have good battles and good games and I think because they're aware of it, they try to like make sure I'm included. So I appreciate it. She Who Owns Restaurants, same thing. Love to play with her, love to play against her because I know even though sometimes she doesn't want to hit me the ball, because people like to win.
Yeah.
And I understand even if it's a rec game, people still like to win it. But there's I'm my group of people that understand what I'm saying and want to play and have good, I guess part of it is like I've tried to, on those times where we'll have a really good point because they're hitting it everywhere. They're not limiting themselves to this one side over here. I'll say like, that was really fun. We should do that more often. And so certain people have picked up on that. And so we do. And we have these fun games with long points where you're really having to battle for it. To me, that's what's fun.
What's a long point?
Like hitting it back and forth, trying to get it by each other. We're both, you go from defense to offense a couple of times, and sometimes you're ahead in that battle, and then sometimes you have to get back on defense because you hit a bad shot, and then they come back on offense, and like those are. It's like games like football. You're trying to hike the ball and throw it to somebody and run into this zone. It's very cut and dry. You're trying to get to this section over here. But sports like ping pong, tennis, pickleball, it's about movement. The more you move the ball and the better you all get, the more back and forth you have every point. Versus when you first start out, people are just like, I hit the serve back over. I got my serve in. Like, you sort of build from, I hit the ball over the net to, I not only hit the ball over the net, but I aimed over here and it went there. And then you move up and up and up, and so, but anyway, so my group of people that understand that we all genuinely do have more fun when we're all included. It's that group of people is growing. And so I think that's also been helpful. But I think part of it for me, like I think about tournaments sometimes and I think like, I don't know. I just don't know with tournaments. I used to play with this girl and I love her to death, And she did great. But they would just, they would hammer it to her, and that's fine. And she, she'd stick in there as long as she could. And I would try to, I'd try to get over there and help. It's just the nature of mixed doubles, a male and a female. It tends to go in that direction. But one of the guys that he's very good. And so randomly one day we were in the same group. This was about a year ago, and me and him were playing. Me and him played against each other, and then the next game we played as a team together, me and as partners. And like 3 points into us playing together, he looks at me, I swear to God, and I've heard this like several times, and I just want to vomit. But he looked at me and he went, "Why don't you play like this in tournaments?" And I, because I'm me, I go, "I'm just bad at tournaments." But my real answer in my head is, because the fucking ball never comes anywhere near me. And I am not, as I've been running, I've been getting more mobile recently, but at that time I wasn't getting more mobile. I hadn't realized that I needed to defatten yet. But I'm like, because every time I move over to get the ball, y'all just hit it behind me where I'm supposed to be, covering that part of the court. And so what am I going to do? You hit every ball to my partner for the most part, minus a handful. What did you want me to do about it?
And your partner is typically a woman or no?
Well, in this example, she's a female. But I mean, even when I play with male even that guy that I played with, in the local tournament, it's not that he was playing poorly, but if you're getting back 20 balls that are hit to you in 1 point, that's awesome. It means you've successfully gotten 20 balls back in 1 point. But if you miss the 21st one, we still lost the point, and I'm still standing here. You know what I mean? And it's like, so sometimes when the ball finally comes to me, I overhit it because I'm trying to make magic happen out of my one cherished ball that I got that came near me. But you know what I'm saying? So anyway, all that to say, like, I think I'm realizing I need periodically to just take breaks. Maybe this will be our next week's topic about, maybe, you know what, we'll just do it right now, really quickly, because I think this will be a money topic too. Because at my core, I'm an introvert. Recently, my battery was low because I was trying to be extra extroverted. And I just sort of stood there and I just went.
Well, you got to paint the scenario. You can't just.
I was at Pickleball.
Oh, okay.
So the day before, there was a group of us that had gotten together, and then we ended up spending the entire day. Had a blast. Okay. Thrilled that I did it. Thrilled me and Only could be there. I'm thrilled we could be there. The next day, I tried to play again after having a big extroverted day the day before. And by about an hour in, I was like, I should have stayed at home and recharged my introvert battery because I'm about to cuss this person out.
Wow.
Because I didn't have enough battery to keep my face together. I'm realizing that's also something. I think because I was playing too much, I didn't have enough battery to keep my face together. And so I would say stuff like, did you forget that I was standing here? To people that weren't trying to like
be malicious,
be mean to me personally. Yeah. But in my mind, I was like, this motherfucker right here is trying to take me down. And when your battery is low,
right, you have less
it's
tolerance.
Hard to self-talk through to be like, we love each other.
Yeah.
It also didn't help that people frequently come to me to be like, I'm sorry, I didn't want to hit you the ball. And I go, could you tell some of these other people that? Because they don't believe me. Some people don't believe me. Some people are like, I think you might be exaggerating that. Like, I would listen. So really quickly, because this will be good for my memory. Some of this I'm getting out on camera because these will be good for my memory to remind me not to do this and to charge my battery every more often. But I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?
You talking about something would be good for recharging, and then the past time you was like, I wish they would tell other people because some people think that you're lying, and
not that it's not. Oh, okay. I'm back. It's not that they think that I'm lying per se. I think they think that I'm exaggerating it.
Okay.
And there came a time where I was very close to just recording every game.
Huh?
Like with my phone.
You need a tripod? I got a couple.
Well, I don't have enough memory on my phone to record a whole game, but I actually, the guy that I played the local tournament with, I almost asked like, hey, could you record this game and just not tell anybody? Because when you go back and watch it, you're like, oh, wow, you really hit 2 balls. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's several videoed games where I went,
video of it?
Count how many. I don't have possession of them.
But I'm saying there is some footage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I went, count how many balls I hit. And I also said, count how many went by me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe they hit a good shot and I didn't get my paddle out quick enough. Like, count those too. Don't just count the ones that I actually made contact with. There was one where we watched the whole video and he looked at me and he went, I only counted 2. And I went, next time I look at you and go, well, I'm glad I could stand here with you. I want you to remember this moment that I'm sure at a certain level, as I was getting more frustrated and my battery was getting lower, I'm sure that I probably like was more exasperated than maybe necessary. But like, it doesn't change the fact that it is what it is.
Right.
I can't force you to play any differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've had to become a little more choosy. So anyway, this is for my memory for later. So I finally have a witness. After all this time, I finally have a witness, which feels good. It feels good to know somebody's heard what I'm talking about. So locally, they have what they call leagues.
Okay.
And so I used to play them. They were fun. I had a few fun times. You know, there was a few fun leagues, and then it wasn't fun anymore. And so now I just sub. I just, if somebody can't make it, they'll ask me if I can come and sub for them. So I learned very quickly that I can only sub for the top group.
What does that mean?
Nobody on group 2 and below won't be on the court with them.
Huh. They're not as good as you.
In their minds. Whether they are or not, it doesn't matter. In their minds. So they just had a league that ended 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So 2 times I went and subbed. The first time I went and subbed, it was for a guy that was left-handed. He plays with his left hand. So I said, well, if I'm going to sub for a lefty, I'm going to have to be a lefty. So I was going to play with my left hand. I did. I played the entire first game, and then it rained the rest of it out. But so anyway, I got out there and sort of hit the ball with my left hand, just sort of warming up, trying to, sometimes I randomly play with my left hand, and I tell people so they'll hit me the ball more. Listen, hey, don't judge me. It works. Sometimes I stand back just so they'll hit me the ball. Like I have little tricks that I've learned over time to like get people to hit me the ball. Doesn't always work though. Sometimes it does. But anyway, so I hit a few, warmed up a little bit, and then, I was like, oh, let me sit down, So 8. I counted 8 people. I have a witness to 2 of them. This person, I sit down and I'm sitting there, and this person knows me. Like we conversate all the time.
Okay.
And they look over. So they were sitting where you are and I was sitting where I am, but we'll flip it and I'll be them and you be me. Mm-hmm. He looks at me and he goes, "Are you playing?" Just like this. "Are you playing?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Why are you here?"
Wow.
I swear. Listen. So my witness is standing right here, watches the whole interaction. And I went, "Oh, I'm subbing." And he goes, "For who?" So I say the name of the person that I'm subbing for. And he sort of sits there for a second. Like you can tell he's thinking. Sort of sits there for a second and he went, Oh, okay. You're not on my net. I was about to go complain. Dead serious.
Complain about what?
About me.
Wow.
To request that I didn't play on his net.
Why?
That it would be unfair.
What's unfair? Me.
My presence. Just me being there is unfair. 8 people. This was number 2. Yeah. So I was already, I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, and I think in their minds, this is how I'm rationalizing it for myself. I think in their minds, they think it's a compliment. But I'm like, I need you to understand that what you just said to me was, I'm not welcome here. I'm not welcome in your net. Do you know what I mean? In your group, you just told me that I'm not welcome. And the only reason that I'm currently welcome is that I'm playing with a different group than you. And if I was going to be on your net, you would have went and complained. That's what you just told me. But I think in their mind, they think that they've complimented me. I've had enough compliments. If you're out there watching, I've had enough compliments. I'll not take any more. Those are not compliments. But literally, 8 people. And they, I think they think they're being nice about it, and they're not. So I try to take it with I think they're trying to be nice. Mm-hmm. It still hurts my feelings, but I think they're trying to be nice. So I even said oh, I'm going to play left-handed. And one of the people, so then I kept saying that as sort of forgive me for being here to sub. I'll play left-handed. And one of the people later, number 6 or 7, I said, well, I'm going to play left-handed. And they go, wow, that bored, huh? And I went, maybe I just shouldn't come. You know what I mean? Maybe I should just not come here. And I look at the other people because I'm not the best person there. Mm-hmm. I'm not the best player there. They don't say anything to the other people. Just me. And I'm like, okay. So now I have a person that literally watched 2 of these interactions. And I go, this is every time I come here. So my witness, the next time goes, hey, text me. Hey, I understand, but could you come sub? So I thought, you know what? You're my witness. I'll sub for you. Turns out I was subbing for his partner. But anyway. Oh, so listen. So here's the best part. So the first time that I subbed, I'm playing left-handed for the lefty. He was late from coming from work. So anyway, he gets there and we're still in the first game. One of the other teams, the best team, they're the number 1 team every week. It's a father and son. Very sweet. Love them both to death. I'm playing left-handed. The lefty, the real lefty that I'm subbing for shows up just to cheer us on. Mm-hmm. I'm late. I've got my work clothes on, whatever. I hear the dad of the father and son team go, listen, they just started. They're only a couple points in. Why don't you go ahead and get your paddle? Kirk don't mind subbing you out. You can sub back in for him. So later, I'm talking to the son, and I go, did you hear your dad say that? He goes, yeah, I don't know what he was on. And he kept going. And I went, he kept going the whole time. I said, do you remember when I held the paddle out and I went, did you want to just play? To the guy who's dressed in his work uniform and work boots. Not really pickleball clothes or pickleball shoes. Held my own paddle out just to get the dad to stop talking. He was still talking, still trying to get him to go in, the other guy to come in the game and me to leave. Anyway, rained it out, so whatever. But I was just like, so the son is now a witness of his own father. And I'm just like, here's the thing. I'm just glad it's being seen. Because here's the thing. I've been living with this whole time. But I'm the only one that's been experiencing it without anybody else realizing this is what's happening right now. Like, remember when you saw me sitting beside Joe? Guess what the conversation was? Me not being welcome here. So anyway, for my new witness, I was like, all right, for you, I'll show up. So I get there, sure as the world, 4 people. I was like, well, guess that's less than 8. But 4 people again. And I'm just like, I think what hurts my feelings is, if I was going to be on your net, do you really think that I was going to, no matter how good you think I am, mm-hmm. Do you think that I'm going to play against you, we'll just say medium skill, as though I'm playing against the number 1 father and son team? Do you really think that I'm going to play as hard against you as I am against them?
Some people would.
I'm not. And if you've ever met me, you know I don't. She who owns restaurant, sometimes she'll go, hit that damn ball like you know you can, to me, because she knows I've adjusted, but sometimes I've adjusted not for her partner. I'll adjust for her partner, but the timing throws her off because she's used to me. If the ball pops up, I'm going to hit it. She's used to that, and so she's preparing for that, and then I'm not hitting it the same because I've adjusted for her partner. She's like, hit that back, hit that damn ball. But anyway, I say all that to say, like, I've now decided that I'm gonna take breaks, and I'm gonna work really hard to make sure that when I do show up, I have a charged battery.
Okay. Because
that'll be helpful. Because if I show up and play for, let's say, 3 hours, if I can get like 5 good, competitive, fun games in, worth my 3 hours. If I have to drive an hour to get there, fine, worth my time. Right. If I show up for 3 hours and I have maybe a game that was like actually halfway decent, I'm like, this was not worth my time. I gotta go. But back to the money. But I think some of it is, speaking of batteries and money, I think too, because work is building back up again, it's forced me to take breaks because I'm at work. I mean, what am I going to do? I So I think also finding that balance has helped with, I need medium money, medium problems. Okay. Full batteries.
I can dig it.
Well, if you're still here after that rant, I apologize. I just needed to know the record for my ears later so that I could remember, oh, that's right, got to charge the battery.
How do you charge your battery, sir?
By being by myself. Like, I love Only, but I think he's figured out there's a certain look on my face, not at him, obviously, but there's a certain look on my face where sometimes he'll go, I'm going to stay in here and you go ahead and watch your TV show or whatever.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And so we're sharing in activities close by, but we don't, but I think he's starting to recognize, like, go ahead and charge the battery. He doesn't say those words, but I think he's recognizing, like, you need a moment, just me.
Yeah.
Watch a stupid show that I've seen 100 times that, just makes me laugh at something stupid. Like that kind of thing.
Well, you feel better?
You know what I do? I do. Sometimes, honestly, I think that's what I like about us sitting down there talking about it is not only do I get to get it off my chest, and you're just sort of sitting there like,
I'm listening.
Yeah. But later I get to re-listen and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I need to make sure I continue to do that. Because I do. I think it makes a difference. I think you could very quickly find people in the pickleball world, and the ones that are like, Kirk is very nice. They're the ones that the majority of the time that I see them, my battery is full. But there's a few, I'm sure, that are like, Kirk's an asshole. And those are the ones that I met when my battery was not full.
Is that by design?
I think it ebbs and flows with everybody. I mean, everybody has their own experiences with anybody. There's people that don't like you because they happen to come into your world in a moment and that was their experience. Same for me. There's people, listen, there's a lady that thinks that I am the most negative creature on the planet Earth. And it's because every time her and I were near each other, I don't know what it was about her and I's interactions, but I just was like, here's all the crap that's happening in our workplace. And I'm just glad that you're here to talk about it. And in my mind, we were commiserating, trying to come up with ideas of how to make it not negative. And now I'm just this horribly negative person to her. Right. She's like, he is so negative. I can't talk to him for long because he's so negative. And I'm like, I can't argue with her because
that's what she knows.
That's what she knows me as. Yeah. And that's okay. I guess somebody has to. But I mean, that's more money, more problems. But she met me in a time where I had more money, more problems. I had a house payment that I was making that I didn't get to stay at. / didn't want to be there much. I had all these things that were happening. I was traveling for work all the time because those were the jobs that were more challenging. So I enjoyed them more. Sort of in the same vein as pickleball. Like, I like playing against pickleball couple because I know they're going to get a bunch of balls back. And they're going to make me work for that point. Same with she who owns restaurants. She'll get that ball back or die trying. And all of a sudden, she'll give it a big whop. When you're not expecting it, you're like, oh, shit. But I mean, it's the same way. Like, there's some other people that I like playing with. We laugh. If you're my partner and you can make me laugh, we're about to kill somebody. Because if we can sit there and laugh through a game, we're on. You know what I mean? You're playing. I mean, I'm sure it's the same way with anything, but with work, I mean, I think my problem before was I was working all the time and saving as what I could. And now I'm doing the opposite. I'm working much less. Of course, it's picking back up now. But what's helping me balance the mo problems as I'm getting more money is the fact that I do, 2 jobs now, 2 different jobs. Right. So I get the challenge of stripping and then the challenge of grave digging.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
How about you?
I'm cool.
I feel like I've talked for a long time.
It's been about 50 minutes.
Sorry.
I ain't mad at it. I'm here for it.
Well, if you're watching and you're one of the pickleball people, you're welcome.
It was Reggie off for Phil. Enjoy.
No. I think it's because I think some of it is the.
This is a safe space.
Well, it is. It is a safe space, but also like, I think not just more money, more problems, but more people, more problems. I mean, the pickleball is a great example because it was a sport that nobody really, very few people had even heard of until like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Probably not even that long ago, really. Like when I found pickleball through the gym, I'd never even heard the word pickleball. Like my mom was a PE teacher and she had heard of pickleball. Right. She had never done it. She had never played it. She knew it existed. But she had heard of this magical game called pickleball, but had never. There was no reason to implement it into her physical education classes. So she was and it really, like when I had said, "Oh, I found this game pickleball," she was like, "That sounds familiar." And so she like went back to her materials through the years and was like, "We did talk about pickleball." She's like, "I thought that sounded familiar."
It's been a while, but I've heard of it.
But as it's growing, it's having its growing pains. It's having its same sort of problems. You know, there's the paddles are hitting the ball harder. You can hit the ball much, much harder than when I started. Now with these paddles, they've got more grit on them. So people are spinning it more, which makes it harder. Like grit on the paddle. But you know, as this sport's growing, the problems are coming. Sort of as the bank account grows, here comes more bills. Or you feel like you can buy equipment and shoes where you normally would have just bought a pair of shoes.
Why?
I think that's some of it too.
Was it?
Feeling like I worked extra, so I'm going to get equipment and shoes. I'm using your example, but whatever, camera one, whatever your two things are that like I used to get food. I used to be like, I worked all day.
I'm going to get some food.
I missed lunch. I should have lunch and dinner at the same time.
Plus dinner later.
Plus dessert. I think anytime, and it might even go back to what we talked about a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. Your brain adjusts. Like you're used to not working extra and making ends meet. So in your mind, you're like, I worked double. I should be able to make ends meet and then have a whole nother paycheck for play money. And it doesn't work that way. You think that might be what it is?
Maybe.
I just thought of that while I was ranting.
I don't know. Well, there's one piece of equipment. I have to get the exhibit reserved so that I can send out invitations so that I can start doing the other things I need to do to prepare for that. But there's one piece of there's probably two pieces, but the other one's like $3,000. I don't have $3,000 to buy a lens. But anyway, there's one piece of equipment that I want.
Is a lens just the
shit on the front of it? Yeah.
$3,000.
It's $2,700 and $3,000. Yeah, with tax, $3,000. But yeah,
I'm like, wow, that's
that lens is a 15 to 35 millimeter lens, so it can go. Those are two different. It can zoom in and out to those two focal lengths. So the second lens I want is a 28 to 70 millimeter. That lens costs $1,600, $1,500. This lens costs almost $3,000. Then I'm done.
Is that double?
No, that of the camera or the lens?
The numbers you gave me, was that a double? Are you going to get double the?
So basically, that's 15 to 35 millimeters focal length. Then the 28 to 70, it does have some overlap.
So it's roughly double.
Yeah, but it's
35 to 70. I mean, like you're getting
20 millimeters
for double the price.
Yeah,
give or take.
Yeah,
you're getting double the
focal length. Yeah,
focal length.
Yeah.
So does that mean like?
That means
you can take a picture further away and it's still clear? Yeah. What does that mean, 70 millimeters?
So 28 to 70 would be, how do I explain this? It's, the human eye is roughly, they say 50 millimeters focal length is the closest thing Either 35 50. I think it's 50. 50 millimeters is the closest thing to the human eye, what we see. Yes, you can see shit in your peripheral, but what you actually see on a regular basis, besides the shit on the side. Because yes, I'm aware the camera's over there. I can see the laptop, but I don't see it in crispy 4K definition. I see this in 4K. So this is roughly 50 millimeters. Yeah. And that, so that would be, and I had a 50 mil, I sold it. I had the Nifty 50, which is like $170.
Was that the yellow one?
No, that was the camera.
Oh, lens. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm talking about the lens, but yeah. So that
Nifty 50.
That's what they call it, because it's like $170 and it's a good starter lens. And it was actually my first lens.
And you feel like it's the human eye?
That focal length, not that lens itself.
Gotcha.
Because there's better 50
Because I feel
millimeters.
like sometimes there's a when travelers need to rest, I drive sometimes. That drive is a beautiful drive. And I always try to take a picture of my view.
Your phone is not a 50 millimeter.
Never looks. And I'm always like, God, I really wish that I could capture
what it looks like to you.
What I'm really seeing.
50 mil.
So what is our phone? I mean, just average off the top of your head, what's the phone? 20.
It's ultra wide, zoom, and portrait.
But is there a millimeter?
Not on the phone, but I mean, I guess
it's 0 millimeter.
No, it's just I don't know the equivalent of that to like that is a ultra wide lens. So I could zoom it into the 15 millimeter, and it would be hella wide. Or zoom out, not zoom in. Zoom out, it would be hella wide. That would be comparable to the ultra wide, but that's good. That has a better sensor because the sensor is larger and it has more megapixels. That's a 45 megapixel sensor, and the sensor is probably the size of a square silver dollar.
Okay.
Whereas that is like this, so that can soak in more light. So yeah, I've learned a little bit since Father's Day last year.
I know. I'm very impressed.
No, I got my first camera.
I'm always impressed.
Yeah, so I've learned. I've been researching and shit like that.
I'm impressed. You know, I hit the heart button.
Whatever.
I do. I'm always impressed with it because I think it does make a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I'm gargantuan on here, but whatever.
I'm on the same couch with you, sir.
I know. God, if you watched last week's video,
he's only 2 inches taller than me. I just sit Indian style, so I look smaller than him.
But
if I did all of this,
so listen,
all regal, I would look just as tall as him. But
listen, I'm gonna remember this part, and I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna take a picture of it and see if it looks any different.
58-minute mark. But yes, I sit like a kid.
So last week's episode, I was watching, and I'm like, I look down at my phone, and I'm like, why am I double the size?
Because you elongate yourself.
But you've got to admit though, the picture that I sent you. So I took a screenshot of the video and I sent it to Michael, and I was like, "Why am I huge? I need to continue defattening." If you watch the video, I don't know why. I am huge.
You're not just tall. You look
what I'm
tall.
saying is, you look at the camera of us sitting near each other, and somehow I'm double your size.
Because you only see half of my body. I'm literally Indian style all the time.
So
at 39, almost 40.
Listen,
Indian style, bitch.
So every year for Thanksgiving, my mom's side of the family, we get together and we take a family portrait.
You look. Your dad's tall though.
I still for whatever reason, always look the tallest. But
you probably are the tallest.
I'm not. My dad's actually taller than me.
How tall is your dad?
An inch taller than me. But in the camera, he should still look a little taller than me. I mean, you know what I mean?
No, he's a bigger guy, though.
But I shouldn't look taller than him.
You should, because you're more narrow than him.
I don't know. He's lost a lot of weight since the last time you saw him.
Really? Yeah. No, he wasn't fat. I didn't mean it like that. Yeah. He's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
He's stocky, or he was when I seen him. But also keep in mind, for example.
Anyway, because this may lead you to what you're going to say more. Because this is what I was going to ask you. So there's one picture that's now we all laugh about it, where my cousin's husband, for whatever reason, he was on one end and was closer to the camera.
That helps too.
He looks...
He probably should look giant if he's closer.
He looks like he is 700 pounds.
Yeah, I was like, if you're closer to the camera, you look taller.
Compared to the rest of us.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, somehow I'm closer to the camera than you are.
You're not.
Is that true? And you're going to say, no, you're not.
You're not physically close. We're on the same couch.
But is the camera kitty cornered at all?
No.
Okay.
I use the tri-grid to make sure we're even.
Okay.
Anyway.
If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But comment below if you think that I'm double the size of Michael. I'd like to know if anybody else sees it. Because I'm on this mission. I mentioned earlier about pickleball. I like to know, is it in my own head? Because that's okay. If it is, that might help me deal with it better in general. It may be in my head. I don't think it is, though, because I've got pictorial evidence.
I think people just are really competitive, but fair enough. Pickleball.
Oh, well, that's probably true. It is what it is.
What is all our social media? They get the fuck out of here.
We have Instagram, Nosey with Good Intentions. We have, make sure you subscribe, follow. Is it follow? Follow. Make sure you follow. We also have YouTube. Hi, hope you're watching here. We have, you know what? I just remembered. So, when I came to the rap battle, I met
the white guy?
Right Hand Man.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he said, did I tell you what he said? He looked at me, because you said, this is Kirk, he's my co-host on the podcast. And he goes, oh, nice to meet you. He goes, you look different. And I was like, what? He goes, you're smaller in person than you are on the video. And I wanted to be like, this motherfucker. But anyway.
In this style, bitch.
Well, I think that's when we were doing the two angles.
Oh, okay.
But who knows? Anyway, no, actually, I think we had moved to one angle by then. Depends on which one he watched. And then I also thought, well, I was defattening. And I had fattened. Depending on which episode. Anyway. So we also have TikTok, Nosey with Good Intentions. We have Snapchat, Nosey Podcast. If you're listening, hi, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe on your podcast interface, whichever one you use. And please rate and leave us a review. Positive, and most number of stars would be preferable. Not even saying it. You gotta say it for the listening.
X.
We also have X, Nosey Good. If I've forgotten anything, they're in the description below. We also have on Instagram, we have the link tree. You can click on it.
Yes, sir.
And it will take you to anything that we have available.
Easy. Thank you for listening to our Nosey Nonsense.
See you next time.